Book 4, Stage 8, Lesson 113. Board.
Board.
Director.
Director.
Deck.
Deck.
Port.
Port.
Get off.
Get off.
Private.
Private.
Lodgings.
Lodgings.
Floorboard.
Floorboard.
Notice board.
Notice board.
Blackboard.
Blackboard.
The basic meaning of the word board is a wide, flat piece of wood. From it we get floorboard, notice board, blackboard, etc.
Okay.
What's the basic meaning of the word board?
The basic meaning of the word board is that it's basically a piece of flat wood.
Give me some examples of what we get from the word board.
We can get from the word board, well, some examples are floorboard, blackboard, notice board.
Okay. What do we use a notice board for?
We use a notice board for putting notices on. It's a quick and easy way of giving news and information to everybody.
Okay. We can also use the word board with the idea of a table. And from it we get, for example, a board of directors. That is a group of directors who control a company or some such organization, and as they usually meet round a table, we call their meeting a board meeting.
Okay.
What do we mean by a board of directors?
Well, a board of directors means basically that it's a group of directors who control a company or some such organization.
Okay. And what do we mean by a board meeting?
By a board meeting, we mean a meeting of company directors around the table.
Okay. We also use board for the deck of a ship, and when we go onto a ship, we say we go on board ship.
Okay.
What happens if you go on board ship to say goodbye to a friend and you remain on board after the ship has left port?
If you go on board ship, when you arrive at the foreign port, you aren't allowed to get off the ship, but are sent immediately back to where you came from.
We also use the word board with the idea of a table with the meaning of food.
Okay.
When, for example, we pay to eat and sleep at a private house, we say that we pay for board and lodgings, that is, food and bed.
Okay.
What do we mean by board and lodgings?
By board and lodgings, we mean paying to eat and sleep at a private house.
Climb.
Climb.
In which profession would you say it was the most difficult to climb to the top and stay there?
I'd say the profession in which it was the most difficult to climb to the top was the political profession.
Why?
Because you need to have a lot of contacts, people need to vote for you for different kinds of reasons.
Okay, what would you see if you climbed to the top of this building?
If I climbed to the top of this building, I would see a little bit, I would have a bigger overview of Bogota.
Okay. Account.
Account.
A story.
A story.
An account is a story.
An account is a story.
A money account.
Or a money account.
What does the word account mean as a noun?
The word account as a noun means a story, or could also be a money account.
Give us a short account of what you did yesterday.
Yesterday, in the morning, I came into the office, practiced some lessons, then I went to see students give a class,
Okay.
and in the afternoon I went to visit a friend.
Okay. Give us a short account of the last film you saw. Have you seen any films recently?
No.
Okay. Do you have a bank account?
Yes, I have a bank account. Of course I have a bank account.
Do you have an account at any shop?
No, I don't have an account at a shop.
Do you keep an account of all the money you spend?
I should, but no, I do not keep an account of all the money I spend. That's why I'm surprised at the end of the month.
Okay, talking about relative pronouns.
Okay.
Stand for.
Stand for.
Antecedents.
Antecedents.
Otherwise.
Otherwise.
Relate.
relate,
in relation to.
in relation to.
A relative pronoun is a word we use instead of a noun, and which we use to join sentences together. For example, in the sentence, "That is the man who gave me the book," the word who is the relative pronoun because it relates to the noun man.
Okay.
This sentence means "that is the man and the man who gave me the book." But instead of using the word "and" to join the sentence together, and instead of repeating the word "man," we just use the word "who," which stands for both the words and "man."
Okay.
What's a relative pronoun?
A relative pronoun is a word we use instead of a noun, and which we use to join two sentences together.
Give me an example of a relative pronoun in a sentence.
An example of a relative pronoun is, for example, "This is the pupil who is the best in class."
The noun for which the relative pronoun stands is called the antecedent. The word antecedent meaning going before. What do we call the noun for which the relative pronoun stands?
The noun for which the relative pronoun stands we call the antecedent.
The relative pronoun should always be put as near as possible to its antecedent. Otherwise, the meaning of the sentence can be different.
Okay.
For example, in the sentence, "The woman knows John, whom I met," means that I met John, while "the woman whom I met knows John" means that I met the woman.
Okay.
Where do we put the relative pronoun in relation to its antecedent?
We put the relative pronoun in relation to its antecedent as near as possible to its antecedent to not make mistakes.
What's the difference between these two sentences? "The woman knows John, whom I met," and "the woman whom I met knows John."
Okay, the difference between those two sentences is that the first sentence, "the woman knows John whom I met," means that you met John, whereas the second sentence, "the woman whom I met knows John," means that you met the woman.
Okay, very good. The relative pronouns are that, what, which, who, whom, whose, and one or two others of less importance.
Okay.
That is used for people, animals, and things.
Okay.
What is used for an antecedent that is not expressed.
Okay.
Which is used for animals and things. Who and whom are used for people.
Okay.
Whose is used for people and animals.
Okay.
What are the relative pronouns?
The relative pronouns are that, what, which, who, whom, and whose.
What do we use each of them for?
Okay, that is used for people, animals, and things. What is used for an antecedent that is not expressed. Which is used for animals and things. Who and whom are used for people. Whose is used for people and animals.
Very good. The relative pronoun can be dropped from a sentence when, if it were used, it would be the object of the verb in the clause. If you find it difficult to know when you can drop the relative pronoun, it helps to remember that it is usually dropped when followed immediately by such words as I, you, he, Mr. Brown, my uncle, etc. For example, in these two sentences, "This is the car that took me to London," and "This is the car I took to London."
Okay.
The word "that" cannot be dropped from the first sentence, but it can be dropped from the second sentence because it is followed by the word I.
Okay.
When can we drop the relative pronoun from a sentence?
We can drop the relative pronoun from a sentence if it were used. It would be the object of the verb in the clause. It is usually followed immediately by such words as I, you, he, she, it, we, Mr. Brown,
Isabel.
Yes.
In which of these two sentences can we drop the relative pronoun? "This is the car that took me to London," and "This is the car that I took to London."
We can drop the relative pronoun in a second sentence because it is followed by I.
Very good. When the relative pronoun is the object of a preposition, that is, follows a preposition, it can be dropped, especially in spoken English, and the preposition put at the end of the sentence. In such a case, the relative pronouns which and whom, if they are not dropped, are usually changed to that and who.
Okay.
For example, we don't usually say, this is the office in which I worked, but this is the office that I worked in.
Okay.
Exactly as we don't say, this is the man to whom I spoke, but this is the man who I spoke to.
Okay.
What happens when a relative pronoun follows a preposition?
When a relative pronoun follows a preposition, it can be dropped and the preposition be put at the end of the sentence.
Very good. In such cases, what happens to the relative pronouns which and whom, that is, if we decide not to drop them from the sentence?
In such cases, the relative pronouns are changed to that and who.
Very good. As examples, change these two sentences, please. Number 1, this is the office in which I worked.
Would be, this is the office that I worked in.
Okay. And this is the man to whom I spoke.
This is the man I spoke to.
Very good. Search.
Search.
Congratulations, you've just learned your 1,800th word.
Yay.
Yay. Why do the police use dogs when they are searching for a criminal?
Well, the police use dogs when they are searching for a criminal because a dog has a strong sense of smell and it's enough to let it smell something belonging to the criminal for it to be able to find the criminal by following its nose.
Very good. Satisfied.
Satisfied.
Why is a farmer never satisfied with the weather?
Well, a farmer is never satisfied with the weather because whatever the weather is like, it's never perfect for everything he's growing. It's good for his corn, but it may not be good for his apples. Or blah. Except.
Do you think a person should accept life as it is or try to change it?
I think persons should definitely try to change his or her life
There.
if it's not what they want.
Good. Which kind of person do you think's happier?
What kind of person?
Which kind of person do you think's happier?
I think the kind of person that's happier is that kind of person that does everything in his power to be happy.
Okay. Support.
Support?
What supports this ceiling?
I hope the walls do.
Okay. Do you support your hometown at football?
I definitely don't. No, at all.
Why not?
Because they're really bad at playing football.
Okay.
Embarrassment.
Okay. Idiom number 16.
Okay.
Watch one step.
Watch one step.
It means be careful.
Okay.
For example, you'll have to watch your step or you'll find yourself in great difficulty.
Okay.
What does the idiom to watch one step mean?
The idiom to watch one step means to be careful.
Give me an example, please.
You have to watch your step when you do business with people you know nothing about.
Very good. End of lesson 113.